Well guys, it's another day of woes here at the ranch. Really want to be working on the White's Learning Center up there on the kitchen addition on the side up there. First of all, had to put a drum in the washer there. One of the air conditioner units came in. I could be installing that, replacing the broke one. But we have spring issues. So let's go down there and see what we got going on. Let's go over here and check out our spring box and stuff, or our pump over here, and see what's going. Tell you what's going on, see what we need to fix it. That's what we have here. Our water comes from a spring up on the side of the hill there. It's sealed off. Basically, it's a shallow well. And then there's a storage tank buried down here somewhere, and people have been using this 80 to 100 years. I know 80 years just from somebody told me that lived here. That would have been 80 years ago. And what we did, there's a pump inside here, and it pumps out the storage tank under the ground. It pumps it up to an elevated tank up at the front of the property, about a roughly 85 to 90 feet higher elevation than we are right now. And then that gives us pressure to most of our buildings. The ones we don't, we have little small booster pumps on them to boost the pressure. But what we have here right now, our pump is running off. This bottom half of this receptacle is for our heat in the winter. The top part's for the pump, which is controlled by this controller, this little fuse pump saver. And what it's been flashing code is rapid cycle. And rapid cycle means more than I already checked it out yesterday, but more than likely when you have rapid cycle, either you don't have something set right on your pressure switch, or in our case, the bladder inside the pressure tank for the pump itself has went bad. Take this lid off this insulated box so I can show you. So we already had trouble the other day. We came back here, ran out of water. And what it was, I'm gonna unplug that. What it was, I guess the heat lamp got too hot over the winter. Probably a day we should have had it unplugged and we didn't. And it melted these plastic fittings just enough that the threads got loose and water sprayed out everywhere. And it was a bad situation. And since then, apparently that valve has already gone bad. We haven't had freezing weather or anything either, so it's about to get replaced today too. But anyway, had the rapid cycle started after that, and I don't know what that would have had to do with it, but other than some sort of coincidence or something, but which I don't really believe in. But this pressure tank, the bladder in it, I put air in it to where it should be, which is 2 pounds lower than what your cut-in pressure of your pressure switch is, which you have to go by a gauge to know that, which we have on the side of the pump down there. And I set it, and it worked fine for about 24 hours, and the air is leaked back out of the bladder. So instead of going buying another one of these pumps with the tank like that, or buying another thing, I'm sure you can probably buy one somewhere. But I have an expansion tank around here somewhere that come from Michigan, from the Snyder's duplex that I went and robbed parts off of that I wanted from up there. And so we have it in storage, and we're just gonna put it in here beside it. Actually, we're probably just gonna take this box off because we won't have enough room, and just have to worry about it come winter again when we have to insulate it. But we're not gonna spend any money is what I'm saying. We're gonna do this for what the Lord's already provided, be good stewards of it, and make it work. The expansion tank's actually bigger than this. Even though it's made for a water heater, it's the same premise. It has a bladder inside it, and you set the air the same way for this, and it works the same. So, and it may be room to sit that thing in the corner right here. or I can replumb it and take this filter off, because the filter, the housing doesn't have a filter in it. We're filtering up top in each building, so we don't really need, and we have a better filter system. That's just a sediment filter anyway. And we're using a sand tank system to take care of that, so that we can flush out. Let's get this off and see what we can do, see what we need, and go get some fittings. So guys, this is the expansion tank that I brought back from Michigan. I checked it, it still has air pressure in it, and it's more than what we need. So I can just bleed off. I don't need an air compressor to add to it to set it. I can just let some out, and if I don't go too far, I won't need a compressor. So it works. If it's held pressure for years now, it's good. Got me an assortment of, got pop cap and some reducers and stuff. We know the valve's bad. It's dripping. It's just a matter of time before it busts, so we'll go ahead and replace it. I got a little bit of extra 1/2 inch and 1 inch poly pipe. What we use here at Alightedpath Path Ranch on the exterior of buildings, we use 1 inch and some 1/2 inch in certain locations for some spigots and stuff. And this is, the minimum is like, this is 100 PSI pipe. And I think this one with the red writing, if I ain't mistaken, it's 150. But the minimum we have here is 100 PSI. A lot of people think this poly pipe is no good, but this is not sprinkler line. That's a low pressure soft, and it's a different size, won't even fit the fittings. And we use pinch rings. We don't use hose clamps that just cause issues. We got a crimper and a pinch ring. That reminds me, I need to go get the crimper and the cutter too. And we'll go back there with a pair of channel locks and some pipe dope and see what we can come up with. All right, guys, I'm gonna start by doing a little prep here at the tailgated truck. I'm gonna take some of these nipples and that, probably a $50, $60 check valve off of there, and save them. And I'm gonna plug this T and just tie it in from there. Get that prepped. I didn't go get any tools. I keep an air gauge and these on this truck. We have we call it a buggy, but it's actually a Honda Pilot that ain't fitting to drive down the highway, that we keep here for the ranch, because they're way cheaper than a side-by-side or whatever. And it's got all our tools on it. But this needs a radiator right now, of course. So this is what we got on here, and we'll make do with these tools. I'm not going back up the hill for pipe dope. We got Teflon tape in our fitting box. So I think we got everything, hopefully, to do it without leaving the ranch, because we keep all this stuff in stock. So if we have problems, we got something to fix it without going anywhere, especially if we got a group here or something else going on. That, and we save a lot of money by ordering in bulk and ordering from Amazon or somewhere. Let's get busy. So let me show you guys what I got, what I did, and what I would do different. But anyway, this is just, I don't have a drill to take this drain line off. It's strapped down at the bottom, but it's nothing now. But this, we didn't put the drain back on. We got rid of that valve that was leaking. Really don't need it now. I'd like to have it, but I didn't have a T. So what I preached about having stuff, parts and material stored up on hand when we need it, I'm missing some 1/2 inch stuff. And I remember now thinking back, there was a shortage. I couldn't get any, or at least at the price I wanted. And I never have went back and order, so I'll need to order some. But we may do what we had, reuse some stuff, and just got rid of that valve, and we don't have that drain now. And some of you might be wondering why we got 1/2 inch on this discharge side. And that's uncommon, because you wouldn't want that feeding your house or anything. But since we have that 85, 90 feet of rise and elevation to get up to our storage tank up on the hill, we can't use 1 inch, because 1 inch, the weight of the water filling all that many feet of, and we got, I don't know, maybe it could be close to 1,000. I remember I put 600 in one run to where there's a valve at, and then it goes probably about that far again, at least 500, 400 or 500 feet more. But that's a lot of weight and water coming down that 1/2 inch. That 1/2 inch, we can barely adjust the pressure up enough that the cut-in pressure is higher than the head pressure that the weight of that water pushing down the hill creates. So if we had 1 inch, it'd be way too much weight to, for this switch to work, and this pump wouldn't work. by the math we done, it wouldn't work anyway, but neither would the electricity, the voltage drop coming down here without a buck boost transformer, but God worked that out where it works too. So anyway, so that's why we got 1/2 inch, because people always ask me if they see it, why there's 1/2 inch or anywhere on the farm, but that's what it is, because it's not feeding the house, it's just feeding that elevated tank, and then when the it fills the elevated tank up and overflows it, it produces more water, and that's what us throttling it back through valves and stuff so it doesn't do it excessively, but we do want it to overflow a little bit and keep that water flowing through there all the time. It keeps it from freezing in the winter, even though we got it buried. If anywhere is exposed, it just helps it having that, because that constant temperature of water coming out of this spring over here, it works good like that. But we may have a leak here. We fixing to find out. First, we got to prime the pump. I already got the prime bulb out. I could use that head pressure, but we have a check valve down there that keeps the water from up top from coming down. And we may have a leak right here, because somebody either dropped this thing or either they over torqued it without putting 2 wrenches on it, and it looks like it may be cracked or close to it. I'm hoping not, because I really don't want to buy one. I don't want to go to town, to be honest with you. Don't like going to the city, and we don't like using God's money for anything that's unnecessary, when we can do something, use it for ministry in a more direct fashion. So hopefully this bottle of water is enough to get it primed. I know it's not enough to fill this pump, but I'm not going to put creek water or something in it, and I'll have to go up top of the hill, and I don't want to go back up there to get water. We're going to try it and see if this will prime it up. Let me put the phone down so I can put that plug in. All right, guys, I had to get a lot more water, because I forgot I'd pulled this line off the old tank, see if I could connect there and drain all the water out of that tank, so it was just bypassing and filling that tank. So basically I had to fill this tank to fill this, or at least to a degree, to get it going. And I got enough to sound like it was priming. Now we got plugged back into this thing. I got the power off, so we're gonna see if it works, see if it trips out any. The reason we have this pump saver on here is if that storage tank, this pump can possibly out pump that storage tank, and it will in the drought of the summer sometimes, and this will sense that, because it reads the amperage draw. It can tell when the motor cavitates, because the draw is going to go down because it's not in a bind, and you can adjust that for your pump. It cuts it off and it saves your pump. And they make pressure switches that have a 10-pound cutoff on it when it drops below 10 pounds. But the only thing is, we have more than 10 pounds on our system, and even with that pressure in there, the water gets so hot in here it'll still cook your pump, and those have to be manually reset. So the pump saver by Little Fuse is the way to go. This is the second one of these we've had. Well, we have, and neither one of them have failed yet. One's up on the hill on pump, and one down here. So we have a well up there as well. Sounds like it's working, but we're gonna wait and see if it gives us a rapid cycle code or not. That'll tell us whether we got it fixed or not. So I believe we're good. I'm gonna sit here a minute, because it takes a while for it to sense that and trip it out if it is. I'll get back with you. All right, fellas and fellettes, I think we got it worked out. It's pumping and not tripping and showing any codes. I think we got it going on. I will address a couple things before we leave though, because I know I'm gonna get emails or a comment or something. So people gonna think it either way. The tank sitting on the ground, I know that's a bad idea, but the metal on that tank outlast the bladder that's inside it, because the sand's gonna eat the bladder up just like it did the previous one. They're only gonna last so long like that. And until we get this permanent building built down here, that's what it's gonna be. We don't have room for a sand tank down here to catch the sand to save that. And then, you get a sand tank, it collects the sand, and then you open the valve and it discharges the sand out with the water pressure. And until we get this building built, which will be a faux his and her outhouse, one side will be the power side, one side will be the electrical side, because we need electricity down here to distribute to these cabins for lights, which is all they'll have. And then the second thing, because all this is temporary to power and all, because we're gonna go underground power, so it's no eyesore. And until then, we're gonna use what we got. And right here, this is our old system. We used to When we first bought the land and started clearing it, we had to have a way for my family to have water to our camper. So we had to side by side. We'd come down here with a 35-gallon tank, farm tank, and we'd fill it with water with an RV. We had a little RV pump and a battery we'd put back here, and we'd haul it up the hill 35 gallons at a time and fill up. And then that worked good for that, because the old lines that the homesteaders and the previous owners had, they've been cut up and by skid loaders and everything else when they logged the land, and we don't know where they ran to anyway, and they were probably full of dirt and just nasty. So we ran new stuff, and for that worked for us for a while, but we've kept it as a redundancy right now, because we got a gas pump that a half a gallon of gas or whatever will just about fill our tank up there. So if the power goes out or the line breaks coming back here, we got trouble, we can always get water in a pinch. So we've left it like that. Thank you guys for coming along on this. A little bit of maintenance day here on a Friday. We're getting ready to knock off for the week. Well, matter of fact, I go unload that washing machine, and then I can knock off for until tomorrow, because I work on Saturdays too. Let's face it, I don't take time off. But we're going to see the neighbors. Going to take them some eggs, you know, it'd be like a fistful of money to them, you know, and fill their belly at the same time. I'm gonna go talk to the neighbors a little bit. I guarantee you we're gonna talk about the Bible. Promise you that. And until next time, just remember, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. Hope he's yours. God gets the glory for all the good in my life. Hope he gets it in yours too. God bless.